Hi, I'm Dan. This is Vinyl Fury. I'm here to show another few records that I've accumulated this year, and there's been a lot of them. I'll actually maybe insert a shot of the inbox I have. They're all records that I've purchased this year, mostly used, and man, it's the most I've purchased in a long time. Almost all of them in this bin have been, clean. They're ready to listen to. I don't know how long it's going to take me to get through them, but if I'm going to keep up with, the show and tell aspect of this channel, I gotta keep going. So let's get into it. These are actually all technically new vinyl purchases, which is also something I haven't done much over the years, these last few years. So this one is Thom Yorke solo record, Tomorrow's Modern Boxes, from I think 2014. And when it first came out, it was in this like silver bag. It was supposed to be, I think, like an anti-static special bag. It was $50. I was like, there's no way. I'm just not doing that. Even though I listened to the record and really enjoyed it, I just was not going to get it on vinyl. And then eventually it was reissued. I think it's been reissued a couple times without all that. This is the inner sleeve. Very cool. And I think all the pressings are on white vinyl, if I remember correctly. So I saw this at the store and I thought, I've heard really good things about the pressing of this album, that it was a great vinyl pressing. It sounded really good. The package was great. And now this, regular version is about $25. So I decided to finally get it, and glad I did, because they were right. It's very well done. Clean, great, smooth sounding record. Music's fantastic, of course. I mean, if you like Radiohead, let's face it, the Thom Yorke solo stuff, Atoms for Peace. There's another supergroup, I think it's called Smile. I actually haven't even listened to that yet, but it all kind of sounds like Radiohead. There you go, Tomorrow's Modern Boxes. And also, in the vinyl community and message boards and stuff, I think it's kind of common to see white vinyl. It's the worst. It's the worst sounding color. I don't really know where that comes from. I've had several white vinyl pressings. None of them have been particularly anything. They're just white. And that record sounds great. So next is an album from Polika, electronic indie rock pop group that I really enjoy. They're very, I think they have a unique sound to me. This album came out in 2020, and I originally just got it on tape. It was like $9, $10. Sounded fine. I wasn't getting new vinyl at the time. And then I saw this at the store when I picked up the Thom Yorke, and it's like, oh yeah. I enjoyed this one quite a bit. And it was, like 22, and I was like, oh, I don't really need to do that. But then for some reason I looked it up on Discogs, and I thought, well, is this something that would be actually cheaper to get used? That's not always the case, but you never know. And I actually found a sealed copy being sold by a record store for $13 with free shipping. So that was just a no-brainer. And it was all in great shape, so I got this brand new copy of When We Stay Alive by Polika. And that is on clear vinyl. Very nice. I like the kind of plaid motif on the artwork as well. So yeah, that was a nice score. $13, brand new, free shipping. That was kind of unbelievable. They also had their new record that had just come out, and it's on this great yellow vinyl, but it's like $29, and I'm not going to get that one. Also from 2020, something that I just didn't get at all at the time, but I did enjoy it when I listened to it digitally, was the album from Rye called Home. And I came across a used copy of this. It was only $10. I was like, oh, shoot, what's going to be wrong with this? So when I first opened it up, I found this. I don't know if an animal chewed it, probably, or a kid really got to this inner sleeve. The other one's okay. But I looked at the records and, a couple fingerprints, but no scratches or anything like that. I thought, well, especially with the record cleaning machine that I have, I think I could save this. So I gave it a clean, and yeah, it sounded pretty darn good. And Rye is like a modern, smooth R&B project. And I believe the singer's name is Milos. And when I first heard Rye, I could not tell if it was male or female voice. Very gender neutral sound. Really reminds me of Sade, which is a great thing. So yeah, for $10, this was a really nice find. Another interesting find from same store. Actually, almost all of these are from the same store. I found this, and the version of it that I found was kind of surprising. So this is the last, well, actually what might be the last album from Circa Survive, an alternative indie rock group. Been around since like 2005, put out a bunch of albums, many of which the last decade or so I just really haven't heard. And they put out 2 EPs last year, or within the last 2 years, and then they combined them for an album called Two Dreams. And I remember, I think I'd heard both of those EPs, and I thought, this is some of their better stuff. It's a bit of an evolution of the sound compared to what I remember from those first few albums. And it was sealed, but it had a used price sticker for $20. And I thought, that's odd. I looked it up, and the pressing is from their Patreon membership exclusively. So there's 500 copies on this orange with white and black splatter. It was only available to their Patreon audience, and somebody must have traded it in without ever opening it. And it's a very cool pressing. It's also in a clear slipcase, which has some artwork on it. Very cool. Very nice package. The vinyl looks like it's pressed at Pirates Press, GZ vinyl, but it's actually pressed at MPO, which I was kind of surprised to see. There's a full booklet in here. So this is produced by Will Yip, who is a fairly prolific producer these last 5 to 10 years. I think he's worked with Circa Survive several times now. And he's really good. And this is an interesting mix, the mix of the album and the mix of like electronic and organic stuff, interesting percussion stuff. And I was actually surprised by the dynamics of the record and the mix, which was good. I don't know if I just lost track of their progress or if they just haven't made something that I felt was particularly good for a while, but this, I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it, so I'm glad I found this copy. And another one I was surprised to see used was this copy of Busy Signal at the Suicide Hotline from Drowning Man. And I bought a remastered reissue of this. When was that? That was quite a while back. And I found this original copy, and it was only $8. And it was a little rough, but not that bad. So again, I cleaned it up, played just fine. And yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to have an original copy as well, especially for less than $10. I showed an original copy of another of their records not too long ago. They're of that like turn of the century hardcore heavy rock bands that I really enjoyed at that time, and I still enjoy this record. And lastly, I talked about when I was showing the Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning and stuff of the Metallica reissues that I had gotten a copy of And Justice for All. I got 2 copies, and they were both warped, and somehow one record was pressed at RTI and one record was pressed at Palace, which was extremely confusing to me. So I actually did end up ordering the Walmart exclusive color. I'm not particularly a big fan of one of the biggest retailers in the world doing exclusives. I think rightly so. There's some conversation to be had around that. On the one hand, yeah, more records in more places, but yeah, whatever. It is a very, very cool green color. Still the same cut, Chris Bellman. Sounded great. You know, this album has its history with the bass track being particularly not very present, although the kick drum sure is. It's a guitar metal record. And yeah, it sounded great. And it does look very cool. When Load came out, I was a fan. And I looked at the track listing recently and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I remember listening to that. And I guess I wouldn't mind having that on vinyl, but I'm not going to pay $30 for it. Like, I haven't seen it anywhere for less than that. So that might be the end of the Metallica on vinyl for me. And it took me a long time to dive in there. The reissues have been seemingly all over the place as far as quality and availability over the last 10 years or so. But this recent reissue campaign remasters from their Blackened label have pretty much been pretty solid. Okay, that is it for this one. Like I said, lots more. As I've been listening to the records, I've been making notes, and then I'll have, 6, 7 records planned for a video, and then I'll start a new note for the next one. And right now I think I'm like two ahead. So hopefully I'll get another one of these before long. So thanks for watching. Take care and enjoy your music. It's a serpent's turn.